All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. So I am Anthony McAuliffe, Deputy Director of Communications for Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks. Thank you all for being here this morning. As you know, we are here to make a very exciting announcement after a thorough and comprehensive nationwide search that was followed in accordance with state law. Today, we are prepared to announce the new CEO for Prince George's County Public Schools. So without further ado, I will bring up County Executive Angela Alsobrooks.
Well, good morning, everyone. As you've heard, we really do have a very exciting announcement this morning, and I am just pleased as all get out, as my mother would say, to be here this morning with you. As you know, for the last few months, Prince George's County has been conducting a thorough and comprehensive national search. Oops. So excited here that I turned off my comments. For the next CEO of the Prince George's County school system. State law dictates the process that we were required to use to conduct our search. It was national in scope and included a search firm and a search committee. In March, we selected a national search firm, Hazard, Young, Atea, and Associates, to assist with our search process. Following that, a 3-member search committee was formed in accordance with state law. The committee included 2 county residents who were selected by our governor and 1 member of the State Board of Education appointed by the state superintendent. The members of our search committee were Brigadier General Warner Sumter, who is a member of the State Board of Education. I want to thank Mr. Sumter for being here this morning. Also on that committee was Aretha Bridgewater Sims, a retired educator who is here as well this morning. I want to thank her so much. As well as Candace Hollingsworth, who is a parent in our school system. And I don't see Candace this morning, but certainly want to thank Ms. Hollingsworth for her leadership and for her participation as well. They worked so hard and were so dedicated to this process, and really just want to tell them they did such an excellent job. Our search firm conducted focus groups, interviews, and surveys to engage the community and gather feedback. And our county-wide online survey received responses from 5,400 community members and stakeholders. The majority of the survey responses came, and this comes as no surprise to you, from our PGCPS staff, followed by students and then parents. And what they said to us is that the ideal CEO candidate would be courageous, innovative, a collaborative leader, and an outstanding communicator. And I think we got all of those things right. They also wanted our new CEO to have the transparency, integrity, empathy, and determination necessary to succeed in this role. Our survey also showed that respondents believe that our next CEO should possess experience in kindergarten through 12th grade instructional and administrative leadership, and noted as well that the ideal candidate should have a passion for student success in all areas of growth and development, and the ability to create and foster a safe and open learning environment for our youth. After a thorough process, the search committee presented me with 3 very outstanding finalists to interview. And again, I want to say to the selection committee, they did an outstanding job. All 3 in their own right could have led our system, but I am so proud to introduce to you a very dynamic, transformational, experienced leader to lead our next Prince George's County Public Schools, and that is our new CEO, Millard House II, who is here this morning. He will introduce them on his own, but I can tell you that CEO House does not come alone. The person he describes as the boss is here with him this morning, and that is Mrs. House, who has come here from Houston, Texas, along with their 2 beautiful children, Trey and Reagan. And I can tell you, Reagan is certainly ready. She's heading off to college this fall, and is really ready to take over. And we're going to be welcoming Trey into our school system as a 6th grade student. So we're really excited about that. Now, Mr. House, as well, is eminently qualified. He comes to us with over 2 decades of leadership experience. He has a well-rounded background that makes him the perfect fit for our school system. Since 2021, he's been the superintendent of the Houston Independent School District, and prior to that experience, he served as superintendent of the Clarksville-Montgomery School System in Clarksville, Tennessee. What stood out to me was his success leading a school system that is so similar to ours, with a diverse population similar to what we have here in Prince George's County. As HISD superintendent, he supervised 275 schools with 25,000 staff, managed 200,000 students, and worked with a $2 billion annual budget. What also impressed me is that his leadership has produced outstanding results. Mr. House has successfully implemented programs that close the achievement gap. And during his time with the Houston school system, out of a list of 50 schools that were rated D or F, his leadership pushed 40 of them to the level of A, B, or C. Now, 94% of HISD schools have earned an A, B, or C rating, up from the 82% that they had prior to his arrival. And with CMCSS, his district topped the state in student academic achievement for 4 years in a row. You should also know that CEO House was listed as a finalist for Superintendent of the Year. He also has experience with day-to-day operations. CEO House has served as Chief Operating Officer of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School System, where he oversaw facilities management, bus transportation, business operations, curriculum, and other administrative details. And so he knows what it's like to tackle deficits, balance budgets, and manage a transportation system. He also served as the Deputy Superintendent of the Tulsa, Oklahoma Public School System and spent years as a teacher and a principal there, fully experiencing the everyday classroom role. He gets it because he's been in the shoes of our teachers and he stood where they stand. He also has a unique view of what it's like for parents and for school children. Mr. House grew up as the son of 2 educators. As a student himself, he worked hard to overcome challenges, including dyslexia. So he understands the struggles our students may be going through, and he knows what a safe and nurturing learning environment should feel like. As a parent, his own children were virtual learners during the COVID-19 pandemic. So while he was working to keep his district students safe, he also knew what our parents were handling as our administrators and teachers navigated a challenging time. All of these experiences have helped shape CEO Millard House into the person I believe is right for this job. They help him see the many similarities that our public school system share with other systems he's led. And he can tackle the challenges we face from a fresh point of view. They help create the innovative leader who with CMCSS created the only elementary Spanish immersion school in the state. He also developed an early college technical trade high school and developed a 3-year bachelor's degree program for high-performing classified employees and graduating seniors that help build a strong and diverse internal pipeline for teaching positions. His experiences shaped the visionary who enhanced green technology through a propane bus fleet expansion, equipped school buses with internet connection, and became one of the first school districts in the nation to partner with Google. They helped him understand how to find and keep teachers. He minimized classroom vacancies by increasing investment in recruitment strategies, especially in hard-to-fill areas, and creating comprehensive compensation plans that incentivize educators to commit to the school district. He achieved an 88% retention rate for certified employees with CMCSS, and he developed the first multi-pronged Grow Your Own initiative pipeline to expand and diversify the pool of future teachers. And his experiences have informed the thinking of a leader who knows he cannot do it alone. CEO House has a track record of working well with others, from education boards, School of Education boards to community stakeholders. He's worked with elected officials to to develop a comprehensive legislative agenda and created partnerships that built opportunities for alternative funding. He's willing to reach out to other superintendents to seek advice and support. He has experience with managing growth. He's a talented recruiter. He knows how to keep team members happy and motivated, and he knows how to cultivate good talent. He knows that parents have a voice, and they must be partners if our children will succeed. He routinely conducts listening sessions to talk to residents and hear their concerns, and it's clear that he understands that relationships matter on every level. In fact, he has an existing relationship with our outgoing Prince George's County Public Schools CEO, Dr. Monica Golson, through Chiefs for Change, a network of state and district education leaders that work on education issues. And I'd like to take this moment again, and she's present here today, to give a very, very hearty thank you to Dr. Golson for the absolutely outstanding service that she provided to our school system. She has been a strong leader, and through some incredibly difficult and unforeseen challenges, she's led us with integrity and with dignity. Under her leadership, our school system provided the most significant salary increase in a generation to employees. We broke ground on 10 new schools and expanded mental health services for students. And Dr. Golson met the unprecedented challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic with her own extraordinary response that had never been done before, shifting all of our county students in one of the nation's largest school systems to a virtual learning format. Hers is, in fact, a hard act to follow. But I believe that CEO Millard House is the confident and capable leader that we need to carry on this important work and keep us moving in the right direction. Dr. Golson and CEO House have put together a succession plan that will ease the passing of the torch and help smooth the transition. I hope that as we go through this transition process, everyone will support CEO House. And I have to just say this, and I said it this morning to the group of stakeholders who met with us, is that it is right now, and it always has been, the most profound obligation of government is the education of our children. And we have now gone through a very lengthy process. This has been a national search. We have really turned over every stone to make sure we brought to Prince George's County the kind of leader that we deserve. And I ask now, and we'll say it to everyone here and everyone who is listening, it will be so important that we line up behind our leader, and that we, in this moment, we keep in mind that the profound obligation we have to our children means that we will not politicize. We no longer politicize the education of our children. We will not weaponize our school system, but instead we will be on one accord. And the one accord is that after we have selected our leader, we will trust the leader to move us forward, and that all of us must keep, again, our children's education is our sole priority, and we must be in lockstep to make sure that, again, all the conversations and discussions that we have from this place forward will be, how is it that we elevate the learning and teaching of our children, and what role we can play to assist our school CEO, our school board, and all of the other leaders involved in the education of our children, making sure that their success is what is most important, is what is discussed from this point forward. And so I am, again, welcome our new school CEO. I've seen in him the spirit that I know will be necessary. He is a caring and transformational leader. We want to welcome him here. And again, I implore everybody to make sure that we are on one accord and that we are walking in lockstep to make sure that our children have the best experience and have truly what they deserve. So now it gives me great pleasure to welcome to all of you the new CEO of Prince George's County Public School System, Mr. Millard House II.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Hope you all are well. It is both an honor and a pleasure to be here with you today. As the county executive indicated, a part of who I am in terms of the fabric of this work goes back to my history as a son of two educators, both worked 30-plus years in the Tulsa Public Schools, recognized in me early on that while I have the ability to move on and make the kind of educational journey that any child should, mine came with some challenges. So I'm very indebted to the support that I've had from my family. I want to, first of all, thank County Executive Alsobrook for really believing in me. We know that the search committee, who we have put a lot in your hands to make this happen as well, had great candidates on the table, and to be on the front end, to walk into this position is something that I do not take lightly. I also like to thank my family, my wife of 26 years, who has decided to hold on to me for at least another year after another move for our family, and both of my incredible, resilient children that have been a part of this major step towards where we want to be as a family and where I want to be as a professional. Dr. Monica Golson, it's interesting. I was asked a question earlier about why Prince George's County? Why? And it came back down to a conversation that I initially had with the current CEO, Dr. Monica Golson, where she, indicated, I'm leaving, and I'm retiring, and at that time, it was established that I would be heading out as well. So through a few more conversations and opportunities to engage with her, it became crystal clear that I would be making a run for this opportunity, and here we are. One of the things in the two superintendencies that I've really enjoyed and that I think is extremely important is engagement. I will be coming into this school system working closely over the course of the next 90 days with Dr. Golson to ensure that I listen and I learn. As the county executive indicated, I spent time going to 18 different communities in the Houston area to hear from parents, students, community members around what it is that they think is very important. And we've got a great head start because we have a strategic plan in place already in this school system. So I look forward to utilizing those kinds of opportunities, as well as utilizing what's in front of me already, utilizing the experience of the current CEO to ensure that we have the best takeoff pad that we need for me to move forward in this position. I also look forward to working closely with all the teacher unions, organizations, employee organizations moving forward. And I think more importantly, the county executive said it well, I look forward to working with the media. The media has a very, very important place in our educational community and what people think about education and what people don't think about education. So I look forward to ensuring that we shape the best narrative possible to ensure that our students get what they need and hear the most positive things about what their future can and will look like. So with that being said, I'll, like my father said, we have two ears and one mouth for a reason. So I will close my mouth and listen with my ears to see if there are any questions.
And I also just want to thank, before we take the questions, we are joined this morning. I can't go around and introduce all the leaders, but we certainly have the chair of our House delegation, Mr. Nick Charles. Want to thank him for his presence this morning. We also have two of our senators here, Senator Jackson and Senator Melanie Griffith. Want to thank them also for their leadership and for being here. And we were joined this morning also by the chair of our county council, who was present, and want to thank him and thank the council. This is a team effort, and I do want to thank them. And then I just have to offer an apology before I start the questions, and that is that I have once again, in spite of my best efforts, brought a Dallas Cowboys fan to Prince George's County. And so I do offer my most sincere apologies for that. We had just gotten, as my dad would say, too far down the road before I realized that we had had another Dallas Cowboy on our hands. But he's promised at least CEO House is a little more modest than the chief of police, who is not modest about his affiliation with the Dallas Cowboys. So anyway, having said that, any questions?
Superintendent House, my name's Scott Broom. I'm a reporter for WUSA 9 in Washington. Let me go to current events, which is security and student behavior in the system right now. And just wonder what your thoughts are about, for instance, security staffing in schools, the SRO programs, and how much interface you'd like to have in that environment. Just some of your thoughts on that.
Thanks, Scott, and it's a pleasure meeting you. First of all, what I'll say, it's not unique to Prince George's County. This has been a national conversation, and it's been interesting to watch the takeoff of the security issues and behaviors post-pandemic. It's really, quite frankly, we've seen the uptick across the country. A part of my induction into this community is really understanding where the hotspots are, listening, looking at the data, understanding where the financial opportunities are to support some potential changes. So it definitely will be a part of my entry plan and paying close attention to not only those things, but some of the major things like the staffing shortages as well. One of the things that we focused on in my last school district is trying to increase the kind of conditions in a positive way. We increased our pay for teachers by 11% this past year, and we had 95 or 96% of our teachers that stayed this past summer. So we know that money isn't everything, but culture combined with a positive environment in terms of pay can make a difference. And we've already got a good jump start in terms of what that looks like with the budget here in Prince George's County. So what I can say is that we'll be paying close attention. We'll be listening, learning, taking a close look at the data, and seeing where the opportunities lie for modifications, changes to what we need to do to ensure that people feel safe in buildings and that children have the best opportunity to learn in the environments that they're in.
Hi, Spencer from NBC4. Welcome.
Thank you.
Obviously, you've done your homework in coming here and accepting this job. Dr. Bolton, very well admired here, and she made it clear when she left that dysfunction in the school board was a factor in trying to get things done and acrimony and infighting. It sounds like you had some experience with that as well, from what I've read. At one point, I believe you may have said something about feeling like you're in a reality TV show or something of that sort. How do you bridge that? It's a hard question, I know, but obviously you've given it thought. How do you bridge that gap? How do you develop a positive working relationship?
It's simple. It's something that my mother told me years ago. Every day is a new day. If you hold grudges, if you don't allow yourself to reflect in a positive manner on what the next day should look like, then you'll lead the organization in the wrong direction. So it can get tiresome in terms of what it looks like from a political standpoint, but my job is to come in, to work with this board. One of the things that I'm going to be pushing on the front end is for them to be afforded with the opportunity to get to know me so that we can understand what the CEO's expectations are from their eyes, and I can understand what the governance expectations are from the board as well. And the only way we do that is coming in and having some kind of scheduled, and I said scheduled ED, retreats over the course of the year. We can't get to know each other in board meetings. That's not the place for it to happen. It's important that we have that intimate time to understand the needs of the school district, the direction, and exactly what it is that we need to change, improve, build upon to ensure that we're the best working body of individuals possible. So I look forward to that as we move down the road.
I guess besides politics, what else drew you to this job as opposed to some of the other ones that you're looking at over the last recent months?
So as the county executive indicated, while I am a Dallas Cowboy fan, I see some momentum in this last draft that could push the Commanders in the right direction. All kidding aside, what I have told several in the room is that I'm very familiar with D.C. on top of being here annually over the course of the last probably 8 to 10 years, 12 years, lobbying on the Hill. I have family here. I have family in PG, in Prince George's County, and in D.C. So I'm very familiar. My father was one of 11 children, and two of his brothers moved to D.C. in their early 20s. They're deceased now, but I have a slew of family. On top of what I know, the potential and the work that's gone into this school system and strategic plan is already, I think the synergy is in a place that aligns with my experience, aligns with the love that I have in terms of innovation. And I think all of those things coming together are a really good match. I mentioned that I had a few different opportunities that had been presented to me prior to coming to Prince George's County. And this is the one that I wanted. And I'm glad to be here.
What was it about this county, though, that just stood out to you and made it the most appealing?
It's different than anything that I've ever been a part of, quite frankly. Of course, those of you that know my history know that I spent 18 years in Oklahoma, 5 years in North Carolina, 4 years in Tennessee. I had a couple short stints with some fellowships in California and in New York as well. This is a very different community, and I think the galvanization around public education, the idea of not so much political back and forth in reference to what it is to support our children is a major difference maker in terms of my decision as well. Yes, sir. Hi, Tom.
Question for you. I was doing some quick research on Houston, and it looks like children there went back to class during the pandemic faster than here. And Prince George's County, a lot of kids were out of school more than a year, and they're dealing with a lot of learning loss, trying to catch up. We learned at the courthouse last week some of those children likely never went back to school. What's your initial plan for dealing with a lot of the children that fell behind the pandemic who still have not caught up?
You know, Tom, there's no right answer in terms of we were learning during COVID as superintendents. I don't know that I'll call it an opportunity, but I had the opportunity to lead 2 school districts in the midst of a pandemic, and both we made a risky choice to come back a little earlier than most. But I don't feel that there was a right answer in terms of what that looked like. What was important is that we practiced what we thought were the best safety measures during that time period. To answer a portion of your question in reference to some students not coming back, that's not just a Prince George's County issue. That's not just a Houston Independent School District issue or Clarksville Montgomery County School District issue. That is something that we're dealing with in our urban school districts across the country. So it's something that we are dealing with and trying to combat the issue. Many of our students, quite frankly, had to go back to work because a family member got sick or someone that supported them. So, you know, trying to show them the value of what education and the future of education will be, regardless of their current situation, is important. So these are issues that Dr. Golson and I, along with Chiefs for Change, have been focused on over the course of the last couple of years, and will continue to focus on. Because they're not items that, quite frankly, are easy fixes, but they're items that we have to focus our efforts on to ensure that we provide our kids with what a future is, the kind of future that they deserve.
What about the children that didn't leave, but just fell behind because virtual learning didn't work well for them, and they're still trying to?
Well, it's quite frankly an expectation. We know that the learning loss that we've seen happened over the course of a couple years. I'm a father of 2 that lived the pandemic, and both of my students, which we did not like, quite frankly. My wife, who was a trooper, you know, I tried to stay downstairs while they were upstairs, but she made it happen. But just imagine, you know, 2 highly educated individuals moving forward and supporting our students. Not everybody had that kind of opportunity. Some parents had to go back to work. So the school system has had to step into a role or been immersed into a role that they haven't been in quite some time. So it's been very, very important that we continue the push to eradicate that learning loss. It's not going to happen in a year. Again, the pandemic lasted for, over a couple of years. So it takes that amount of time. But the concentration and strategy around what that looks like is what's important. And I think a part of this strategic plan is built around just that and ensuring that we offer the kind of opportunities that will help to eradicate the kind of learning loss that we need. But I look forward to expediting it and pushing hard from a strategy standpoint around what else we can do to ensure that our kids catch up and end with what we know is college and career readiness.
Speaking of House, I can tell you're a metrics guy. Just listening to you speak. The county executive, you ticked off your resume, something got my attention, which is this raising satisfactory to high achievement levels from 85% Houston ISD up into the 90s in a fairly short tenure. So, what's the secret sauce to doing something like that?
So it's interesting. I'm asked that question a lot, different conferences that I go to and places that I attend. Every school system and every community is different. It's really understanding what the needs are from a statistical data standpoint in that particular community. For an example, we knew in my last school system that we were a decentralized district, which simply means that of the 275 schools that we had, each one of them could have been doing their own curriculum, completely different in 275 schools. So we knew that bringing the decentralization to a different level could be a quick win. We also know the issues that come with a decentralized school system. A number of students, quite frankly, go to 2-3 schools over the course of one school year, and they may see 2-3 different curriculums over the course of one school year. And having some kind of consistency in place was going to be important. Now, I want to preference, again, that was right for Houston ISD. And that allowed for us to move forward with great wins. In my school district in Tennessee, in the Clarksville-Montgomery County School District, we had solid success, but we looked at it from a different lens. It was more of an innovative lens. So it'll be about understanding what the needs are here, taking a close look at the strategic plan, the goals, working closely with the board to decide where those quick wins can come from, what we can focus on to ensure, is it our performance of our 8th graders, which we know has been a struggle, and that transition from 8th to 9th grade is a very difficult one anyway. So we'll take a close look. There's not a silver bullet that you can say, hey, this is what will happen in any school district, because each school district has different needs. You have to focus on what those needs are and strategically plan behind them and make it happen.
What did you learn as a teacher?
As a teacher,
What do you bring to us as a teacher?
that is a loaded question. And I say that because the power of a teacher is beyond measurement, quite frankly. I didn't go to school to be a teacher. I went to school at the University of Montevallo, and my hope was to come out with an exercise physiology degree and go to physical therapy school, but full transparency, I didn't get into PT school. So I came home and did what anybody would do. I became a barber. And honest to goodness, I've cut hair for years and still cut hair, women's and men's. But the interesting thing is when I started substitute teaching, I saw the power of engagement with students. And I saw that if you honed your skills in a certain way, that you can get students to believe in you, and you can get students to allow for them to let you lead them in a powerful way. So as a teacher, I saw the power of hope, the power of possibility, and if you couple those things with strategy and statistical data analysis, you can really move kids in a special direction. So the power of teaching is beyond measurement.
Okay, we're going to just do two more. I just want to also acknowledge, we have the leaders of our school board who are here this morning. I want to acknowledge and thank them for being here, as well as the leaders of our labor unions who are here this morning, and want to thank each of them as well, Mr. Figman.
Go ahead. You mentioned that kind of the state is kind of in charge of this process. You okay with that and transparency?
Well, there was an engagement process. There was a selection committee, but we also used a search firm. And that search firm and the committee together conducted a number of public engagement sessions. You heard that we got back to 5,400 responses that allowed our school system employees, parents, and others to engage. And we hosted a public forum very recently where we came into the community to ask them what kinds of qualities were important to them. And you know what, I'm going to be honest, to my dismay, it was not terribly well attended. But we did host a public session for the public to come out and have an opportunity to engage. So in this moment, I feel comfortable with the result of this search. It yielded a professional like CEO House. And not only CEO House, but as I indicated, they brought to us very, very strong candidates who each in their own right could have led this school system at a time, by the way, where there are so many school systems across the country who are searching for leaders at this moment, some in this region. So we were competing against some local school systems also. This is a very challenging time to find leadership and to have found the caliber of leader that was discovered in this process, I think speaks to the fact that this process, at least in this moment, has worked for us.
Follow up to that.
Yes.
Obviously, Dr. Golson was a homegrown school CEO and came up in the system 30-some years, no offense, sir. Why an outside person versus inside? Was that, just tell us a little bit about that. Was an inside candidate seriously considered, someone from within the community, versus the reaching and bringing someone here? And what can you tell us regarding the salary and benefits package you offer?
So again, we followed the search, these criteria that was set out by the law. And the law said that the governor selected the selection committee. The selection committee then would vet the candidates, and I would get 3 names. And I can just share with you that that the 3 names that I received were all from outside the school district. So it was. I didn't have an opportunity to see the other candidates because we followed the process set out by state law. So I can't tell you even whether or not there were others from inside the school system in the nature of those individuals. So the information I have to speak from is the information that was provided to me. Again, according to state law, I was provided with 3 candidates. And again, that same process, by the way, we used the exact same process in the last search, and it yielded Dr. Golson. So it is a process that has been tested twice. One time, it resulted in us selecting someone who was homegrown and who had been through our system, and in the second time, it did not. So you know, we've had it done both ways.
Last question, and Nicole.
Yeah, just the House, just to summarize, kind of who you are as a leader, what do you think are your priorities as an educational leader? What are the top issues, and, how do you want to move forward?
I think anybody's priority as a leader or even a community member is ensuring that you have a healthy educational institution to educate our students in, because quite frankly, it is about the vitality of a community. You know, setting the proper goals and working closely with the board and adhering from a progress monitoring standpoint to meeting those goals. It's about seeing the progress in our schools. So those would be, that would be, in my opinion, what I would see as the major focus of what, this work and a leader should be focused on.
Thank you, everyone.